What happens to your Social Security benefits if you retire early? The video details what actually happens to your Social Security check when you retire at 62 instead of waiting. The answer is uglier than most people realize, because the choice you make in the Social Security office one afternoon locks in a number that will be with you for life. Here are the headlines you need to hear. For people born in 1960 or later, the full retirement age is 67, and applying for benefits at 62 permanently cuts monthly checks by about 30%. Not a year, not before you somehow make up for it, but for the rest of your life. The only change since then has been the annual cost of living adjustment. Let me elaborate on how the NSA calculates this 30% figure. Using the formula that your benefits will be reduced by 5/1% for each month, you claim for the first 36 months before you reach full retirement age, and then by 5/1% for another month after that 36 months. Assuming your retirement age is 67, and you submit your application at 62. This will bring you 60 months ahead of schedule. Shave 20% in the first 36 months, 10% in the next 24 months, and 30% for life. If your full retirement age is 66, that number is even milder for people born from 1943 to 1954, because in that case, filing at 62 means a permanent 25% tax cut. Still considerable, still locked in for life. To really make money, look at the Social Security Bureau S2025 data. In 2025, the maximum monthly benefit for 62-year-olds will be $2,831. But by the time they reach full retirement age, the ceiling will be pushed up to $4,018 a month until age 70. The same person, the same work experience. 3 completely different checks depending on when they picked up their pen. Now many are blind. Imagine you applied at age 62 and found that you just needed to work part-time to make up for the shortfall. Because Social Security has something called an income test, which is cruel if you don't know. It exists. In 2025, if you don't reach full retirement age and receive benefits throughout the year, SSA will deduct $1 of benefits for every income you earn more than $23,400. In the year you actually reach full retirement age, the threshold rises to $62,160, and they keep only $1 for every 3 months beyond that threshold. Once you reach full retirement age, the income test disappears entirely, meaning you can make $1 million a year without moving benefits. The good news here is that the money withheld through the income test is not really gone, because when you reach full retirement age, SA recalculates and increases your benefits to include the months they withheld. So this part of the function is more like a delay than a real loss. But that has disappeared since the 30% rate cut was announced earlier. Let's talk about why people pull the trigger at age 62, because a lot of people pull the trigger. Historically, 62 has been the most common age for Social Security applications in the United States, and the reasons behind it are not crazy. Early declaration means you need more time to collect money, which can be avoided if you have a family history of health problems or a short life expectancy. Many people want cash flow so they don't have to run out of 401k or IRA in their 60s or worry about trusts. As we LLC right away, the reasons for waiting are just as real. Every year you delay reaching retirement age over 70, your benefits increase by 8%, a guaranteed increase supported by the government, and there is little else in the financial world to offer in return. Marriage has also changed the way it is calculated, since the surviving spouse can be raised to the higher of 2 benefits, meaning you must apply for the remaining benefits in advance to lock in the smaller remaining benefits. Researchers have been studying the issue for years. A 2019 joint income study of retirees concluded that only about 4% of retirees applied in the best financial situation, the vast majority of them in advance. Economists at Boston University's Retirement Research Center and elsewhere have repeatedly noted this. So why the system initially allowed you to submit documents at age 62 is a detail most people never understand. When Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the Social Security Act on the 14th of August, 1935, there was no early retirement option, and the retirement age was locked in at 65. Women did not retire early until they were 62 in 1956, and the same option did not apply to men until President Kennedy took office in 1961. The whole concept of Social Security, early retirement, is actually younger than many people watching this video. Then, under President Reagan in 1983, Congress passed an amendment gradually raising the retirement age for all people born in 1938 and beyond from 65 to 67. That is why your full retirement age depends on the year you were born. Born 1958, 66 or 8 months, 1959, 66 or 10 months, 1960 or later, apartment 67. The initial application age is still 62, but the penalty for using it is greater because you are now applying older than your full retirement age. Let's talk about the elephants in the room, because I know many of you are already thinking about it. Why wait until Social Security may not exist at all? The following is the actual statement of the 2024 annual report of the Social Security Trustee. Pension and survivor trusts expect to pay 100% of planned benefits by 2033, after which the upcoming payroll tax will still cover about 79% of planned benefits, if Congress does nothing. In the worst case, the legislative action would be zero, not zero, with interest rate cuts of about 21%. That is nothing, but there is still a long way to go before the system disappears. And historically, Congress intervened whenever Social Security approached the funding cliff. The 1983 amendment is the clearest example of this pattern. A major recent development is also understandable. On the 5th of January, 2025, the Social Security Rights and Interest Law was signed into law to abolish the profiteering elimination clause and the government pension offset. The change mainly affects public sector workers like teachers, firefighters, and the police, whose pensions come from jobs that do not pay Social Security. If that describes you, then your benefit calculations are simply shifting in your favor. The early retirement deduction rules have not changed, but this is the real action of the system. Let's go back to the original question. When you retire early, 3 things actually happen. First, based on the number of months, you submit your application in advance. Your monthly benefits will be reduced by a fixed percentage, and permanently up to about 30% if you retire at 67. Second, if you continue to work until you reach full retirement age, the income test can recoup some of your benefits, but you will recoup them later. Third, you lock in a smaller base for each future cost of living adjustment and a smaller survivor benefit for your spouse. The truth is, there is no universally correct answer. If you are unwell, single, and in need of money, claim to be fully rational at 62. While if you are healthy, married, and have other assets to live in, waiting until 67 or even 70 tends to lead to better math scores. As of January 2025, the average monthly retirement benefit was about $1,976, indicating that most retirees would not live on checks when they submitted their applications. I think it is just a personal preference. The 30% reduction is permanent. The 8% annual deferred credit is guaranteed. And wherever you go, you are making a decision that will quietly shape your finances for the next 20 or 30 years. Before you walk into the office at 62, do the math, check your retirement age, measure your health, consider your spouse, and make sure that the choices you make in an afternoon will still make you feel good in 20 years.